Can you imagine a person weighing more than half a ton, having to use a crane to lift him out of his house, or a chartered plane just to carry a single passenger? Sometimes dozens of rescue workers spend hours just to move a person a few kilometers. These are special characters, mobile mountains of flesh. Their lives are a series of tragedies mixed with extraordinary moments of recovery that make the whole world take their hats off. Let's explore 20 stories of people who shocked the world because of their unimaginable weight. 1. Kali Mosansari. From half a ton of raw meat to icon of resilience. In 2013, the name Kali Mosansari shocked the world. At only 17 years old, he weighed 610 kilograms, becoming the fattest teenager on the planet. While his friends played on the soccer field, Kali could only lie motionless in bed for 3 years. All his daily activities were completely dependent on his relatives, and his life was constantly threatened by the risk of heart failure and complications from obesity. Kali's story quickly spread, even prompting the King of Saudi Arabia to directly intervene. A special rescue operation was launched. Specialized equipment had to be imported from the US, taking hours to lower the half-ton body from the upper floor to the ground. The image immediately became the focus of global media. But Kali's journey did not end in tragedy. With the support of a medical team, he underwent multiple surgeries and followed a strict diet and exercise regimen for 5 years. The results shocked the world. From 610 kg, Kali was down to 68 kg, a body so slim that many people could not recognize it. Kali Mosansari's story has become a rare symbol of resilience and the will to live. It proves that even when pushed to the brink of despair, people can still be reborn if they dare to face and persevere to change. 2. Mara Rosales, the half-ton woman and her journey to redemption. In Texas, USA, Mara Rosales shocked the world when she weighed 545 kilograms. With her giant body, the press nicknamed her half-ton woman. The tragedy became even more serious when she was involved in a case that resulted in the death of her 2-year-old nephew. Initially, the public believed that Mara had accidentally crushed her niece to death due to her large body. But the truth was later revealed. The real culprit was her older sister. Out of family ties, Mara accepted the blame, making herself the focus of criticism and becoming a global symbol of the terrible consequences of obesity. For many years, she lived a life confined to bed, all her activities revolving around eating and medical treatment. However, from the darkness, Mara did something extraordinary. She began her weight loss journey with dozens of surgeries and a strict diet. Step by step, she regained her mobility, step by step surpassing herself. The results amazed the medical community. From 545 kg, Mara lost about 90 kg, a number that seemed impossible for someone who only lived thanks to medicine. But more importantly, she became a testament to the strength of the spirit. From a half-ton prisoner with a reputation for guilt, Mara Rosales was reborn as a symbol of determination and hope for millions of people struggling with weight around the world. 3. Susan Eman, the woman who dreams of reaching 700 kilograms. While many obese people are trying to find ways to lose weight, in Arizona, USA, a woman named Susan Eman is stirring up public opinion with her strange goal: to become the heaviest woman in the world, even wanting to reach the 700 kg mark. By then, Susan weighed more than 360 kg, but instead of being afraid, she was proud of her large body. Every day, Susan consumed nearly 20,000 calories, 10 times the daily requirement of a normal woman. The supermarket became a familiar stage where she and her 2 sons filled their trolleys with foods high in fat, sugar, and starch. Not only that, Susan also monitors her own health indicators such as blood pressure and blood sugar to prove that she is still healthy despite her giant body. Her story immediately sparked a heated debate in the medical community. Experts warned that dreaming of breaking records could mean an early death sentence. However, Susan found support from a community that loves plus-size bodies, especially from her husband-to-be, a chef who always encouraged her on her weight gain journey. For Susan, happiness is not about body measurements, but the right to live the way she chooses. Susan Iman's story is both a challenge to science and a reminder of the fine line between personal ambition and the safety of one's own life. 4. Monica Riley, the real estate queen, and her controversial dream. In Texas, USA, a woman named Monica Riley once shocked the public when she publicly shared her strange dream to become an immobility queen. Weighing over 450 kg at that time, Monica weighed over 320 kg, but for her, that was not the destination. What shocked the public the most was her boyfriend's agreement. He did not object, but enthusiastically supported her, preparing huge meals every day and feeding Monica himself, even taking care of her every little activity. For them, this was not a burden, but a joy and a way to express love. Monica admitted that her biggest dream was to become so fat that she could not walk on her own, so that her boyfriend could serve her completely. At that time, she believed that she would feel like a queen, protected and absolutely loved. However, behind that dream are countless warnings from the medical community. Doctors confirmed that continuing to gain weight would shorten Monica's life, turn her body into a medical burden, and push her closer to death. However, Monica remained steadfast in her choice, considering happiness as living according to her desires, regardless of the price to pay. Monica Riley's story has become a hotly debated example of the line between personal freedom and scientific advice. It is also a reminder that happiness does not always equate to health and longevity. 5. Pauline Potter, from the fattest woman in the world to living proof of willpower. In 2011, the world knew the name Pauline Potter when she was recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the fattest woman alive. Weighing up to 302 kilograms, her giant body made every daily activity a challenge. From getting out of bed, bathing, to moving a few meters was enough to exhaust her. Pauline admitted that she felt like she was imprisoned in her own body, completely dependent on the help of her relatives. But instead of giving up, Pauline chose to confront her situation. She signed up for the popular reality show My 600lb Life, where many obese patients seek a chance to rebuild their lives. Here, under the guidance of Dr. Nauzaradan, Pauline began a strict diet and underwent gastric bypass surgery, a risky operation. There were times when she wanted to give up, but the desire to move, to travel, and to live freely helped Pauline persevere and continue. After a long journey, the result was beyond her expectations. From 302 kg, she lost 65 kg. From a person who once held the title of the fattest woman in the world, Pauline Potter has become a symbol of change. Her story proves that even when shackled by hundreds of pounds of excess fat, people can still break those shackles if they have enough determination and will. 6. Donna Simpson. When fame comes from weight and an unexpected turn. In the world of strange records, the name Donna Simpson once made the global public shake. In 2010, she publicly declared her goal to become the fattest mother on the planet, with a weight exceeding 450 kg. Not only does Donna eat a lot, she has also turned eating into a career. She created a paid website where viewers can pay to watch Donna eat giant pizzas, cream-filled cakes, or mountain-high barbecue parties. Those videos bring her a steady income, enough to support her family. Every day, Donna consumed up to 12,000 calories, 6 times the normal needs of a woman. But the price of fame came very quickly. Her overweight body forced her to use a wheelchair, her health declined with a series of diseases such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and chronic exhaustion. Surprisingly, just 1 year later, in 2011, Donna decided to give up her half-ton dream and start a strict weight loss regime. She went through many arduous efforts and successfully lost more than 100 kilos, a change that surprised many people. Donna Simpson's story is a powerful reminder. Fame, money, or social media views are never worth the health and freedom of your own body. 7. Arya Permana, the 190-kilo 11-year-old boy and the miracle of reincarnation. In 2016, the image of an Indonesian boy weighing 190 kilos at the age of 11 shocked the world. That boy was Arya Permana, living in West Java province. With a giant body, Arya could not fit into any clothes, could only wrap cloth around himself instead of a shirt. While his friends played on the soccer field, Arya only knew how to stay at home, eat, and lie down. Uncontrolled eating habits, from rice, meat, instant noodles to soft drinks, turned Arya into the fattest boy on the planet. He could not go to school, could not stand on his own. On hot days, Arya had to sit in a bathtub to cool down because his breathing became difficult. Doctors warned, if he did not change, he could die before he reached his teens. But a miracle happened. With the help of the medical team, Arya had gastric bypass surgery and adopted a healthy diet, combined with daily walking and swimming. Step by step, the boy gradually regained his health, could breathe easier, and smiled again. The results were remarkable. Just a few years later, Arya's weight dropped to 82 kilograms. He returned to school playing basketball and soccer with his friends. Luxuries that seemed impossible for the half-ton boy back then. Arya Permana's story is proof that even if fate locks us in a giant fat cage, with will, action, and support from the community, the door to freedom can still be opened. 8. Fa Man-chi, Chinese mukbang star and the price of health. In the huge wave of eating videos in China, the name Fa Man-chi, Hao Ngoch Fei Monka Ki, quickly became an internet phenomenon. With a weight of up to 300 kilograms, he surprised millions of viewers with his ability to clean up a banquet table in just a few minutes. From giant pots of stewed duck, golden brown roasted suckling pig, to whole cow heads or dozens of grilled meat skewers, all have become eating performances that attract millions of views. Each video brings him tens of thousands of yuan in income, making him famous as the king of extreme culinary entertainment. However, behind the social media halo lies a sad truth. His overweight body makes it difficult for mankind to breathe, his speech is intermittent, and he even has to sit on 2 sofas put together. The excess fat compresses his heart and lungs, pushing him to the brink of danger. Under pressure from his family and community, Fa Man-chi was forced to change. He announced that he would give up his huge eating videos and start a weight loss journey, even though it meant losing a large number of fans and a huge source of income. This decision became a turning point in his life. From an entertainment star relying on extremism, Man-chi bravely chose health and life as priorities. His story is a reminder that behind the laughter and social media spotlight, there are sometimes high costs that not everyone sees. Next, Liu Weishan, China's fattest woman and her journey out of despair. In China, Liu Weishan was once referred to as the fattest woman in the country when her weight reached 200 kg at the age of 32. Her giant body made Liu's life fall into a deadlock. She could not take care of herself, had difficulty finding a job, and always had to endure discrimination from society. Liu had an uncontrolled eating habit since childhood. By the time she entered university, her weight had exceeded 150 kilograms and continued to increase rapidly. Doctors warned that she was at risk of heart failure and many other dangerous complications. A life almost confined within four walls made Liu Weishan fall into depression and despair. But then, in a crucial turning point, her mother, who was a plus-size clothing seller, encouraged her daughter to boldly try weight loss surgery after witnessing many successful customers. In 2015, Liu decided to undergo liposuction. The results were beyond her expectations. In just a few months, she lost nearly 90 kilograms. A year later, her weight was down to under 100 kilograms, enough for Liu to walk, work, and reintegrate into normal life. Liu Weishan's journey is proof that even when confined in a giant body, humans can still break the chains of fate if they dare to face it and are determined to change. 10. Jon Brower Minnoch, the heaviest man in human history. When it comes to weight records, no one can surpass the name Jon Brower Minnoch, the American man recorded as the heaviest in human history. With a peak weight of 635 week in 1978, Jon had been overweight since childhood, but as an adult, his body grew out of control. Every movement, every breath became difficult. Doctors determined that Jon had severe edema, which caused massive accumulations of fluid and fat in his body. In 1978, his health condition forced him to be rushed to the hospital. Moving Jon required a special ambulance and dozens of medical staff. At the hospital, he had to lie on a giant custom-made bed. At each meal, he consumed far more calories than a normal human body could tolerate. Despite the efforts of doctors to treat him, Jon's condition continued to deteriorate. He died in 1983 at the age of 41, just 5 years after setting the record. Jon Brower Minnoch's story is not only shocking at 635 kilograms, but also a warning to the whole world. The human body has limits, and when that boundary is exceeded, the price to pay is life. 11. Manuel Uribe, Mexico's half-ton man. In the history of modern medicine, the name Manuel Uribe is always mentioned as one of the most extreme cases of obesity. Born in 1965 in Monterrey, Mexico, Manuel was a normal computer engineer. However, a sedentary lifestyle and a high-fat diet caused his body to swell out of control. By 2006, Manuel's weight reached 560 kilograms, helping him enter the Guinness Book of Records as the heaviest man in the world at that time. Since 2002, he has been completely bedridden. All activities from eating, bathing to moving are dependent on his mother and a few close friends. The most haunting image in his life was his wedding in 2008. To take the groom to the altar, the family was forced to use a large truck to carry the bed where he had slept for many years. It was also one of the few times Manuel was allowed out after more than a decade of confinement in his room. Despite his efforts to lose weight, at one point he was down to around 394 kilograms. Manuel's health never recovered. In 2014, he passed away at the age of 48, ending his tragic days in his half-ton body. Manuel Uribe's story is not only a personal tragedy, but also a powerful warning. Extreme obesity not only ruins health, but can also confine a lifetime within four walls. 12. Robert Butler, the half-ton man and a decade of loneliness on his hospital bed. Among the stories of extreme obesity in America, the name Robert Butler leaves a special mark for loneliness and despair. Born in 1972, Robert's weight steadily increased, eventually reaching 544 kilograms, turning every movement into torture. He couldn't walk on his own and even needed someone to help him sit up. Every time he moved, the rescue team had to use a crane and a special vehicle. Once, it took dozens of staff 7 hours just to carry him less than 13 kilometers from the nursing home to the hospital. That image made the whole world shudder at the price that a half-ton body had to bear. In his final years, Robert lived quietly in a small room in a nursing home, confined to bed for most of a decade. Whenever he felt depressed, he turned to pizza and chips, creating a vicious cycle that only increased his weight. Doctors hoped gastric bypass surgery would save Robert, but he never reached a safe weight for the operation. In 2015, Robert Butler passed away at the age of 43, leaving his family and community in grief. His story is not only a terrifying record, but also a stark reminder. Extreme obesity can turn people into prisoners in their own bodies. 13. Ayman Ahmed, the woman who weighed nearly half a ton and her short-lived miracle. In the 2010s, the name Ayman Ahmed, commonly known as Iman, shocked the world when she was recorded as the heaviest woman on the planet, weighing nearly 500 kg. Iman was unusual from birth. At birth, she weighed 5 kilos. As an adult, obesity left Iman unable to walk, bedridden for many years, suffering from a series of complications: diabetes, kidney failure, high blood pressure, and elephantiasis, which causes the body to swell abnormally. In 2017, the family decided to take Iman to India for treatment. Because of her weight, a special flight had to be arranged, and dozens of people had to help get her to the hospital. There, Iman underwent gastric bypass surgery, losing more than 300 kilos, a medical miracle at the time. For the first time in many years, she was able to sit up and smile, bringing hope to millions of obese patients. However, the miracle did not last long. Just a few months later, Ayman passed away in the UAE at the age of 37 due to serious health complications. Ayman Ahmed's story is both tragic and extraordinary. It shows that medicine can work miracles, but extreme obesity can still take lives when people lose control of their bodies. 14. Carol Yager. The tragedy of the woman weighing more than half a ton, born in 1960 in the US. Carol Yager was once known as one of the fattest women in history, with a weight that at one point exceeded 540 kilos. From a young age, Carol had an uncontrolled eating habit. As an adult, her eating disorder became more and more severe, turning her body into a helpless mountain of meat. For many years, Carol was bedridden, unable to move or take care of herself. She was dependent on her family for everything from eating to bathing. Her daily diet included tens of thousands of calories, including pizza, fried chicken, cakes, and soda. Carol's massive frame left her with constant ulcers, infections, and pain. Doctors tried to intervene, but her health continued to deteriorate. Confined within her four walls, Carol spent her days torn between her insatiable appetite and physical pain. In 1994, at the age of 34, Carol Yager died of multiple organ failure. Her death at such a young age shocked the public and left a bitter lesson. Uncontrolled eating not only destroys your figure, but can also take your life. Carol Yager's story has become one of the most powerful reminders of the dangers of extreme obesity. 15. Terry Smith, the obese woman who did not succumb to fate. Born in 1960 in Ohio, USA, Terry Smith is known as one of the most obese women in America. With a weight that at one point exceeded 317 kilograms. From middle age, her body began to swell uncontrollably, turning every daily movement into torture. With her giant body, Terry almost had to spend her whole life confined to a bed or wheelchair. Complications of obesity came one after another, high blood pressure, heart disease, and the risk of stroke always lurking. Even the smallest things in life, she could not take care of herself. But what makes Terry special is her optimism. Instead of hiding in sadness, she chose to turn her personal pain into a message for the community. Terry actively participates in obesity awareness campaigns, sharing her own story to warn people about the harmful effects of overeating and a sedentary lifestyle. Despite her heavy body and many inconveniences, Terry Smith still shows a strong will. She proves that even when confined in a giant body, people can still choose a positive way of life and inspire others. Terry Smith's story reminds us that the will to live can transcend the body, and that hope is always present even in the most difficult circumstances. 16. Kenneth Brumley, half-ton dad and the shocking rescue. The name Kenneth Brumley once shocked the world when he was called half-ton father, with a terrible weight of up to 468 kilograms. Once a healthy boy, Kenneth began to slide after the age of 19 when he gave up sports and immersed himself in fast food. Pizza, French fries, soft drinks. There were days when his calorie intake reached 30,000 calories, more than 14 times the normal need. As a result, Kenneth was bedridden for 15 years, completely helpless against his giant body. When the doctor decided to perform surgery to save his life, the rescue team was forced to break down the wall of the house to get him out. The scene was recorded in a documentary, shocking the whole world. Thanks to gastric bypass surgery and a strict diet, Kenneth lost nearly 76 kilograms in just 40 days. However, after many years living in a half-ton body, his health could never return to what it was before. Kenneth Brumley's story is a wake-up call. By simply letting go of his eating habits and lack of exercise, an ordinary person can become a tragic symbol of extreme obesity. 17. Walter Hudson, the man stuck in the doorframe and the tragedy of extreme obesity. In the 1980s, the name Walter Hudson in New York, USA, was mentioned as one of the heaviest men in the world, with a terrible weight of up to 545 kilos. Walter's enormous size made it nearly impossible for him to leave his small home. Tragedy struck when he became stuck in a doorway, forcing rescuers to break down the wall to get him out. The image spread across international newspapers, becoming a bitter testament to the consequences of extreme obesity. Walter's diet also shocked many people. At each meal, he could eat dozens of eggs, sausages, French fries, and countless sodas. The huge amount of calories quickly turned his body into a mobile meat mountain, out of control. In 1991, Walter Hudson died at the age of 46 from complications related to obesity. He was expected to be listed in the Guinness Book of Records, but was ultimately remembered more as a human tragedy. Walter's story is a painful reminder that sometimes a narrow door can become a prison of life and death when people lose control of their own bodies. 18. Michael Hebranko, the world's biggest weight loser in the bitter cycle. In the history of medicine, Michael Hebranko is a special name. He once weighed more than 400 kilograms, but also owned one of the most impressive weight loss records in the world. Initially, thanks to a strict diet and exercise under the guidance of experts, Michael lost more than 320 kilograms, down to only about 90 kg. This extraordinary achievement made him a global icon in the fight against obesity, appearing on many television programs and participating in community campaigns. He was once praised as the world's biggest weight loser. However, the victory did not last long. After a few years, Michael fell into a spiral of overeating again. His weight quickly skyrocketed, exceeding 400 kg and pushing him back to the hospital bed. The whole world had witnessed a strong man overcoming himself only to be saddened by the harsh relapse of obesity. In 2013, Michael Hebranko passed away at the age of 60, ending a life that was both glorious and tragic. His story is a powerful lesson. Losing weight can be a miracle, but keeping it off is the hardest battle of your life.